Hey guys, Tbull here. Today we had a game in the North Carolina Bill Sims. We got Cunningham, Scharnhorst for inspirations. Double accuracy on the inspirations. Slot 1, we got fire reduction, not accuracy there. You can see we're almost ground out through the Kansas here. But here we got a domination mode game on the map.
It's a trap!
And pretty good battleship game overall. We're going to wind up with a lot of damage, yes, but there's some important battleship principles to be gleaned from this game as well. So hopefully you guys enjoy this one. If you're new to the channel or you're not yet subscribed, please consider subscribing. We are shooting for the 20K, and then we got some planned giveaways that'll be triggered once we get to that milestone, if we ever do. So please consider subscribing. If you're not already, it just makes it easier to find the videos. To start off with, we analyze destroyer composition. We do this almost every game. Well, I do it every game, but we talk about it almost every game. And basically, we got 2 destroyers per side, and one of them's on our side, one of them's in the middle. So that's good. Unfortunately for us, the destroyer that spawned over here, Akatsuki, not playing the game. It's going to take him about a minute to pick up the controller. Is he buffing his Dewey? Does he have something else going on? We'll never know. But I understand sometimes you hit ready and then something comes up. No big deal. But don't make it a habit of not being ready to go, because this puts us at a disadvantage here. Number one, we can't see where our team's deploying, which is important. That informs the strategy, what the destroyers are doing. We got to react to them, because basically you're either a destroyer or you're supporting your own destroyers and trying to kill the enemy destroyers. That's the object of the game. But here's the other problem. We're spotted, right? And he's telling us to get back now that he's picked up the controller for some reason. But any ships down range, they can shoot at us. We don't know where the shots will be coming from. Makes it harder to angle. That first opening salvo, if you can get that off in your opponents, advantageous. You might catch them trying to do a turn or something, give them a nice big whack. So not the best deployment, not the best start to the game. And then now that he's coming up here, he's going to ignore A and then go towards B and then torp. So not the most effective destroyer game over here. We also have another battleship that's spawned over here that's heading north towards B. So we're basically going to be over here by ourselves, and then we're going to have the Benson, who's by B, is going to capture B, then come over here. So we got to recognize that's the situation from our team. And then the red situation, we got 2 Colorados to the right-hand side of the screen, Tennessee, and we can see a destroyer likely on A that we don't know about. And there's actually going to be another cruiser over here. So that's going to be 5 ships versus essentially us until the Benson comes over here. And what do we do when we're in the overload? We slow them down. There's the York. So we have no hope of capturing A. I mean, if that destroyer got on there, spotted the enemy destroyer, we could shoot him. We could actually capture the base. But he doesn't want to do his job. So we cannot capture A at this point in time. We know that. We also know that we can't turn here, because if I want to get out of here, we're going to have to turn away, and we're going to get shot by 3 battleships. So that's not really an option. You can see we're basically backing away. But I want to talk a little bit about the angling here, because I see some players, struggle with the opening angling here. If we're a battleship on the flank, why are we pointed towards those 2 ships on the right-hand side? Because they're the middle spawn on the red, right? So we're basically pointing directly at them, which is great armor angling. And then we're mostly angled against these guys to the north of us, right? Or actually they're a little bit to the northwest at this point in time. But by pointing basically towards their middle spawn, which is what we elected to do, we're angling against all 6 of these ships. If we point to the northwest, let's say we we're pointing to the left-hand side of the screen instead of the right-hand side of the screen, those Colorados down there, they're shooting us directly in the flat broadside. We're getting smoked. Okay, so this is good battleship angling to begin with. Especially good when the game plan calls for, okay, we're going to get battered around here. We're going to try and slow these guys down. We didn't even slow them down from capturing the base, unfortunately, because, the destroyer could move right in there. But we're still over here. We're still basically going to try and tie these guys up as long as possible. You can see our guys are winning B. There's nothing challenging them from C. They're just going to take their time killing that other cruiser up north, and then we're going to have that half of the map. So that's where the game is going to be won from a scoring standpoint. But how we're going to contribute to winning the game, and we're going to wind up with the top score here, is we got to slow these guys down, because they already got the base, but if they kill everything over here, myself included, then they begin moving to the east. Now our team's getting enveloped. They're getting flanked, and we're getting battered around. Then we lose the game. So it's of extreme importance we can get annoyed with our team that leaves the spawn and say, what are you doing? oh, you just wanted to sail south of that big island behind B and hide most of the game. Well, that doesn't seem that effective. But while we're yelling that at the TV, we still need to be doing our job. All right, so Benson does a great job over here. He didn't go right for A. He went and played with his twist and track, presumably, and found that Akatsuki, and now he's gunning him down. I'm getting nervous, though, because we got a York moving in. Now, the York is low health. Okay, I should be a little bit less nervous, but I'm trying to gun it here. I want to keep this guy in position to shoot. We want to kill him, because what we're trying to do right now, we're trying to support that destroyer while he kills the Akatsuki, okay, or whatever that destroyer was over there. If he can do that, and we can support him doing that, then we can wrap up this flank, because I feel like I can at least slow these guys down and maybe brawl these guys a little bit, do some damage over here. But in order to do that, I got to protect him from that cruiser. All right, so I wasn't able to actually do that because the cruiser got behind the island. He disengaged, and now I'm getting a little bit nervous. Like, oh no, the York's moving right at him, which is what German cruisers will do. They'll rush the destroyers. Usually they'll kill them, and if the York has more HP there, Benson does die. Okay, so we got to feel a little bit bad about not protecting him from the York. But he did gun the York down, and now he's in full pursuit mode, getting that Akatsuki down. Meanwhile, we get on the base, and this goes along. This is scoring 101. I mean, we need to stop their accrual of points, yes. But this also goes along with slowing down what they're trying to do. They won this side very quickly, but because that Benson did a great job going for that destroyer, which is the biggest threat for us, we can get on this cap safely. Now, we can still angle against this Colorado, and we're pointed directly at the other one. That's about as good as we can do to angle. We don't want to get much further forward because now they're going to start shooting us in the sides. So we got to slam on the brakes. We're not going to capture the base here, yes. And look at this juicy shot, by the way. He gets us right in the nose, and that's the weak spot of the North Carolina. When we're baiting these shots, we want to get them in the angled sides, not in the nose. But getting back to my point, we're not actually capturing the base, but they're no longer earning that income. We got B. We're on the verge of getting C. They've wiped out that eastern flank now with that last kill. We have the center and we have our flank under control. And now we're actually down to these last two ships here. And even though we're not going to actually score or capture this base, it's just not physically possible to do as long as they continue to shoot at us. They will keep resetting us. But they're not getting those points. And by the way, you know, I understand the game's likely over anyways because we've been smashing them around. Yes, but nevertheless, I thought that was a good, valid scoring play to point out because a lot of times the battleships don't move forward very well, and even if they do, they don't really consider capturing bases. A lot of times, the battleship mentality usually isn't to be focused on capturing the bases, but you got to look for opportunities to do so. Now Benson, here's an interesting play here. He drops the smoke. He actually gets us protected, which I appreciate. He's trying to keep us alive. We don't have any more heals, so there's no real reason for us to just sit here not shooting. So as soon as we shoot, we get spotted again. But we launched the plane because look at him. He wants to be utilizing that smoke as well. So I believe he probably laid the smoke down to protect us, but he's also going to want to use that as an offensive tool to shoot both these guys down. I launched the plane for two reasons. Number one, I think I'm about to die anyways, and we want to launch the plane whenever we think we're about to die, just so your team may be able to use it. But in this case, for sure, we know the guy will be able to use it. Because if we die, and let's say those other guys to the east don't have line of sight on these guys, they probably do now, but we don't know for a fact that they would consistently. But now that plane will keep spotting for this guy. He can stay in the cloud. He can keep gunning away and utilize that smoke. So a little bit of a courtesy play there, a little bit of a payback for the great job he did coming down here to kill that destroyer. Really, the only criticism I had of that guy is he left B. While he was leaving B, the Orkan got in there to challenge the cap. I don't know if he just didn't know where he was, but that's beside the point. That was an example of good destroyer play that you'd want to have on your team, coupled with basically what I would want the battleship to do. The battleship, we're trying to tank as best we can. We're trying to take a lot of those shots in the angled sides. That's the only way we can stay alive consistently in the NC. It's definitely not the easiest ship to play when you're up-tiered because those big Tier 7 guns will start slamming you around quite a bit. But you got the nice 406s, very powerful ship, especially when you're top dog. You can kind of do the same thing. Like the Colorado can't really angle against us. There's a lot. Nagato can't really angle against us. So there's good and bad about the NC, but overall I thought that was a pretty good game played in conjunction with both North Carolina and this Benson right here, which I believe we're going to get the 2 top scores. So anyway, that's going to do it for this one, guys. Hopefully you guys did enjoy it. If you did, please hit the thumbs up. If you're new to the channel, well, consider subscribing. We got lots of World of Warships. It's coming all the time for you. Questions, comments, leave them below. Love to hear from you, and we'll see y'all later. Peace.